In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NBA games happening on December 20th, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Washington Wizards versus Memphis Grizzlies. The Washington Wizards roll into the FedEx Forum to take on the Memphis Grizzlies on Saturday. And it feels like the same story all over again. Washington is still short-handed, with Corey Kispert and Chris Middleton listed out and Malachi Branham tagged as questionable. On the other side, Memphis has already ruled out Ja Morant, Zach Edey, Javon Small, and Vince Williams Jr. again, so their injury report still reads like a full scroll rather than a short note. Even with all that, it is pretty easy to see why the Wizards are sitting as double-digit underdogs after getting blown off the floor by the Spurs in their last game. When you get smoked like that, the market usually does not rush to trust you again. Memphis keeps living in this strange zone where half the roster is in street clothes, yet the team keeps performing. Their injury list is constantly changing, but the results over the last stretch are hard to argue with, as they are 7-3 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. If that keeps up, Tuomas Isolo is going to force his way into the Coach of the Year conversation, whether people are ready for it or not. Honestly, this is one of those runs where you almost expect regression, but Washington keeps stepping in as the willing partner on the other side. The Wizards remain what they have been for most of the season, which is a rough watch. They are just 8-17 against the spread overall, and when the number gets big, it has not exactly turned into free value. As a double-digit underdog, they are only 7-11 against the spread in their last 18 tries. So yes, the line looks thick for a Memphis team that is patched together most nights, and it is normal for bettors to feel a little uneasy laying so many points with a team that is this banged up. But recent history is pretty clear. The Grizzlies have been cashing tickets, and the Wizards have not. As our first pick for this matchup, the Memphis Grizzlies to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Washington is averaging 112.8 points per game on 46.3% shooting from the field, but the real headline is on the defensive side, where they are giving up a massive 126.8 points on 48% shooting. That kind of defense, or lack of it, usually turns even an average offensive night for the opponent into something that looks much bigger on the scoreboard. They also knock down 36.9% from 3, even while hitting only 74.8% at the free throw line, so there is enough shooting to keep their offense from completely stalling. Defensively, Washington allows 37.2% shooting from beyond the arc and gives up a lot of clean looks, which is a nice setup for opponent totals. They do grab 43.3 rebounds per game, but that often just means more possessions and more chances for both sides to score. On Memphis' side, the numbers lean toward a game where points should flow as well. The Grizzlies are averaging 114.1 points per game on 45.2% shooting and allowing 115.9 points on 47% shooting. They shoot 34.4% from deep and a solid 80.3% at the free throw line, which quietly matters a lot when you are sweating an over and every late whistle adds 2 more chances at easy points. Memphis is allowing opponents to shoot 36.8% from 3 and pulling down 47.9 rebounds per game, which again hints at plenty of possessions and second chance looks. Put together, you have one team that consistently gives up huge numbers and another that is more than capable of scoring and also leaking enough on defense to keep Washington involved. It does not guarantee a track meet, of course, but the numbers lean strongly toward a game that has more scoring swings than defensive stands. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Phoenix Suns at Golden State Warriors. Phoenix and Golden State are back at it, and this one has that familiar tug of a coin flip that does not really feel like a coin flip. The Suns are still missing Jalen Green, and they are keeping tabs on Grayson Allen, who is listed as questionable. The Warriors, on their side, have already ruled out Al Horford and Seth Curry again, which on paper chips away at their depth and experience. Phoenix has cooled off a bit lately, but they were still sharp enough on Thursday to sneak past Golden State, largely because their defense locked in on Stephen Curry and did not let him run wild. If they want a repeat performance, that defensive focus has to show up again, especially on the perimeter where Curry usually does his damage. That last meeting really set the tone for what to expect. It was tight from start to finish, and Phoenix only won by a single point, edging out a game that always felt one possession away from swinging the other direction. They also covered as a 2-point home underdog, which fits into a larger pattern. The Suns have covered the spread in 13 of their last 19 overall, in 7 of their last 9 on the road, and in 10 of the last 14 head-to-head against the Warriors. That is not a fluke stretch. It is a pretty consistent trend of them showing up against this matchup. On the flip side, Golden State has not exactly been a friend to anyone backing them. The Warriors have covered in just 4 of their last 13 overall, and they are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 on their home floor. Playing without veteran Al Horford, at least as the original note framed it, supposedly pulls away from their interior presence, rebounding, and rim protection, which all matter when you face a team that can pressure the paint and then kick out. Stephen Curry's scoring arc since returning has also been a bit of a roller coaster. He dropped 39 and 48 points in his first 2 games back after nearly a month out, but then managed only 15 against Phoenix on Thursday, a clear sign that the Suns did something right defensively or that his rhythm dipped a bit, maybe both. The Warriors keep getting priced like the more trustworthy side, yet they keep falling short against the number. They are 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 as a favorite, and 6 of those failed covers ended as outright losses. That is not the profile of a team you rush to lay points with, especially against an opponent that has already proven it can win outright as an underdog multiple times this month. Phoenix, for all its flaws, has 3 outright wins as a dog in that span, and it is not wild at all to say the Suns might simply be the better team right now. With that context, taking the points with Phoenix again feels less like a gamble and more like staying with the side that has actually been paying you. As our first pick for this matchup, the Phoenix Suns to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Phoenix Suns are averaging 114.8 points per game on 46.5% shooting from the field while allowing 114.5 points on 47.9% shooting. That combination, where your offense is solid but your defense is leaky, usually leads to plenty of possessions where both sides trade baskets rather than stack stops. Phoenix is hitting 36.8% from 3 and 79.3% at the free throw line, which is a fairly comfortable profile for an overbacker, since good shooting and reliable foul line trips can rescue a slow quarter in a hurry. On defense, the Suns allow opponents to shoot 36% from deep, which keeps the door open for stretches where the other side heats up. They also grab 42.1 rebounds per game, and while that sounds like a stabilizing stat, it often just feeds into more up and down sequences, with long rebounds leading to transition and quick decisions. The Golden State Warriors sit in a very similar scoring neighborhood. They are averaging 114.4 points on 45.1% shooting and allowing 113.2 points on 46.2% shooting. So you again have that pattern where both teams can score, and neither is exactly clamping down for full 48-minute stretches. Golden State shoots 36.8% from 3 and 81.8% from the free throw line, which is almost a mirror image from distance and even better at the stripe. Those kinds of percentages make late-game fouling sequences much more meaningful for a total because each whistle feels more likely to produce 2 points instead of a split or a brick. Defensively, the Warriors are allowing 34.4% shooting from deep and grabbing 43.1 rebounds per game, numbers that point more toward balanced, competitive flow than a slow crawl. Combine that with the recent history between these two and the offensive talent on both sides, and you get a matchup where a higher scoring outcome is a very reasonable expectation rather than a stretch. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Orlando Magic versus Utah Jazz. Orlando is the better team here, and they are absolutely capable of winning this one with room to spare. Still, there is a catch. 7 of their 12 losses have come on the road, and that does not exactly scream reliability away from home. On top of that, the Magic are just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games, so backing them has been a little bit like pulling a slot machine handle lately. Sometimes it hits, often it does not. Utah without Markkanen definitely loses some shine, no question. Even so, the Jazz keep showing up and battling, and they have quietly put together a profitable 14-12 record against the spread this season. 7 of their 10 wins have come at home, which says a lot about how comfortable they are in their own building. They are also 7-4 against the spread in their last 11 home games when catching 5 or more points, which is a nice little indicator that they punch above their weight when the market expects them to stay down. Orlando also has a bit of a look-ahead spot with the Warriors coming up, which can tug at focus more than coaches like to admit. Honestly, it would not be shocking if the Magic still pulled out a win here, but that is not really the point. The price is asking them to control things in a building where they have not exactly been dominant, against a Jazz team that has been scrappy and profitable in this kind of role. With that setup, taking the points with Utah makes a lot of sense. As our first pick for this matchup, the Utah Jazz to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Orlando is being treated like a solid favorite, and when the Magic are in that position and actually settle into control, they usually lean right back into what they do best, slowing things down and guarding. Defense is not just part of their identity, it is pretty much the whole personality. They are far more comfortable squeezing games with physical defense than getting into wild shootouts. When they set the tone, possessions get longer, looks get tougher, and the scoreboard moves in smaller steps. Utah's clearest path to hanging around runs along the same line. The Jazz are not built to trade haymakers in a free-flowing track meet here, and trying to race would likely backfire. Their smartest angle is to grind, cut down on mistakes, and force Orlando to really work through half-court sets. The Magic can score in spurts, but their offense is still inconsistent and really tied to matchups and transition chances. When those easy runouts vanish, scoring starts to feel like work, and you get more empty trips. Now, when a total starts pushing up toward the 240 range, it quietly assumes that both sides are not only efficient but stay that way for long stretches. The likely game script does not really back that idea. If Orlando jumps ahead, they are going to lean on their defense and manage the game. If Utah keeps it close, it probably means the contest has turned more physical and methodical, with both teams feeling each possession. Either way, you are looking at fewer total trips and more stretches where neither side scores for a couple of minutes. This matchup is less about fireworks and more about which side can impose its physical style, and that kind of controlled, half-court rhythm points straight toward the under. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Portland Trail Blazers versus Sacramento Kings. The Trail Blazers come into this one short-handed again, still missing Scoot Henderson and Drew Holiday along with Matisse Thybulle, and Jeremy Grant is sitting in that annoying gray area as questionable. On the other side, the Kings have ruled out Zach LaVine and Domantas Sabonis, which hits their front court really hard and makes an already thin group look even more fragile. Sabonis being out in particular is a big blow because he is the hub of so much they do offensively as a passer and rebounder, and without him, Sacramento has to patch things together inside more than they would like. Portland is not exactly in a great spot either. Holiday, who averages 16.7 points and 8.3 assists per game, has been out for over a month, so the Blazers have been operating without that steady playmaking presence for a while now. Scoot Henderson still has not made his season debut, which means a good chunk of their future ball handling and offensive upside is sitting on the shelf. That leaves Portland leaning on a shorter rotation and asking a lot from whoever is healthy on a given night. Defensively, neither side has anything to brag about. Both teams have struggled to get consistent stops all season, and it shows up in the way games tend to turn into long stretches of trading baskets. The Blazers have been firing away from beyond the arc, letting it fly at a high volume, but the problem is the results. Their three-point percentage is the second worst in the league, which is a brutal combo when you are relying heavily on those shots. Sacramento is not exactly lighting it up from deep either. They are 29th in the league in three-point rate at .338 and sit 19th in three-point percentage at 35.3%. Given that, the Kings are likely to attack the rim aggressively in this matchup and keep trying to live at the free throw line. They know they need to do better from three than they did last Thursday, but their clearest advantage comes from pressuring the paint and putting Portland's interior defense and discipline to the test. On the other end, Portland's defense ranks 19th in opponent three-point percentage at 36.4%, while Sacramento's defense checks in 9th in that category at 35.1%, which quietly suggests the Kings are a bit better equipped to contest the perimeter looks that matter late in games. As our first pick for this matchup, the Sacramento Kings to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Trailblazers are logging 102.6 possessions per 48 minutes, which is second in the NBA, so they are playing at a fast pace by design. They crash the offensive glass hard, ranking third in offensive rebound percentage at 31.1%, but pay a price on the other side, sitting 27th in defensive rebound percentage at 71.7%. That kind of imbalance usually creates chaos, more second chance looks on one end and leak-outs or broken floor situations on the other. Across the court, the Kings are not exactly slow either. They are posting 101.4 possessions per 48 minutes, which ties them for 6th in pace. Unlike Portland, though, Sacramento is near the bottom in offensive rebound percentage at 21.0% and sits 25th in defensive rebound percentage at 72.2%. So you have two teams that enjoy pushing the tempo, neither of which truly controls the glass in a way that would slow the game down. Long rebounds and loose balls tend to feed runouts and early clock shots. Both teams love to play fast and struggle to defend, and that combination is usually music to the ears of anyone looking at higher totals. This matchup really does set up neatly for points, even if the posted number feels high at first glance. Neither Portland nor Sacramento has shown much commitment to consistent defense this season. What they have shown is a willingness to push the ball, take early looks, and trade buckets instead of grinding through long half-court sets every trip. Each team is surrendering roughly 122 points per game, which says a lot about their defensive habits. More importantly, there is nothing in their personnel or schemes that suggests a sudden shift into a slow, methodical, lockdown style. Portland gives up points in transition and has issues protecting the rim, while Sacramento often allows open looks on the perimeter and gets twisted up in rotations. That combination produces a steady diet of good shots for both sides, whether it is at the rim, behind the arc, or at the free throw line. One of the nice parts of this over angle is that it does not depend on the game staying close. You do not need a perfect nail-biter, a late whistle parade, or overtime to get there. You just need both teams to play the way they have been playing all year. If they simply hit something close to their season averages, you are already in the neighborhood of the number. If one team heats up, which is very reasonable in a matchup like this, 130 plus from that side alone is not out of the question, and that puts you in an even more comfortable position because even a slightly improved defensive showing from the other team still leaves plenty of room to clear the total. This profiles as a fast, loose game with a ton of shots, where defense mostly rides in the back seat. It is easy to imagine a combined score creeping toward 250 without it feeling especially wild once you see the pace and shot quality on both ends. With all that in mind, it is natural to expect lots of second chance points, a pile of free throws, and another high-scoring contest. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. As for obvious errors in the original write-up, there are a few that stand out. Jrue Holiday is not on the Trailblazers roster, and Zach LaVine is not a member of the Sacramento Kings, so listing them in those spots is a clear team mix-up. Los Angeles Lakers versus Los Angeles Clippers. The Lakers come in short-handed again, with Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, and DeAndre Ayton all ruled out, while Rui Hachimura is sitting in that murky questionable bucket the day-to-day crowd knows too well. Across the hall, the Clippers are still without Bradley Beal and Derrick Jones Jr., and Cam Christie is listed as questionable. Even with those names out, the contrast in current form is pretty stark. The Lakers keep stacking wins despite all the injuries, finding ways to stay steady, while the Clippers just ate a blowout against the Thunder for their 10th loss in 11 games, which is about as rough a stretch as it sounds. Honestly, when you first glance at a soft line in a rivalry game like this, the instinct is to assume someone big is sitting. I was expecting to see Luka or LeBron out, but that is not the case here. The Lakers still have their stars available. So it is fair to ask, how is this number so small when you compare how these teams are actually playing? The Clippers have only 6 wins and sit at an ugly 8-19 against the spread, and they often carry themselves like a group that would rather be anywhere else. You can almost feel the tension of veterans quietly counting the days and wondering how long they are supposed to tolerate this skid. Trend-wise, the history between these two has leaned toward purple and gold lately. The Lakers have won 7 of the last 9 meetings with the Clippers and have covered the spread in 7 of those games as well. That is not everything, but it is a strong nudge. The Clippers will absolutely treat this game like a measuring stick and put their best foot forward against a team they know well, but that does not necessarily translate into 4 quarters of clean basketball. If the Lakers get another big performance from Doncic and their overall form holds, they are more than capable of taking control control and winning this one by a comfortable margin. With all that in mind, taking the Lakers at a short price feels like the only side that really makes sense. As our first pick for this matchup, the Los Angeles Lakers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. You almost have to start with the obvious question, is there anything Luka Doncic cannot do? He is coming off yet another wild performance, dropping 45 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists while dragging his Lakers past the Jazz on the road. Utah led for roughly 3/4 of that game and even held a double-digit advantage at one point, but the Lakers showed real resilience, chipped away, and turned it around late. That kind of mental toughness matters, especially in high-scoring games where swings come fast. This group is now a perfect 10-0 straight up in clutch games this season, which is something worth keeping on the radar as the schedule wears on. Luka and company are aiming for a 4th win in 5 outings as they face the Clippers, a team they have already beaten 135-118 in that same building earlier in the year. That first meeting was a wild one, with a combined 253 points on the board, and it showed how quickly this matchup can become an offensive shootout when both sides lean into their strengths. On the Clippers side, the spiral continued with another defeat, their 5th straight, losing 122-101 at Oklahoma City. James Harden chose to sit that one out, and without him, the offense looked flat and disjointed, barely scraping past the 100-point mark. The irony is that he has been the lone bright spot for this team for most of the season, and when he is missing, the lack of structure becomes obvious. With Harden somewhat rested, you would expect a more coherent offensive effort here, but the bigger issue is that the overall body of work still tilts heavily against them. They are just 3-8 straight up in home games, and there is not much from this season they can brag about. They have failed to cover in 10 straight contests at the Intuit Dome and have dropped 8 in a row against Western Conference opponents, which says more about the kind of game state they often find themselves in, chasing instead of controlling. From a totals perspective, that first meeting in late November tells you a lot. They combined for 253 points, and neither team exactly fixed its defensive issues afterward. Defense has not been front and center for either side this year. The Lakers sit 21st in defensive efficiency, while the Clippers rank 26th, which is not a duo you associate with grinded-out defensive clinics. The over has cashed in 8 of the last 10 Lakers games, and that is not a coincidence with this level of offensive talent on the floor. With both squads capable of long scoring runs, plenty of shot making, and some shaky resistance on the other end, this projects as another game where points pile up in bunches rather than trickle in slowly. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.